we're going to be talking about planning the work and working the plan. First, let's talk about the book that governs all the things that I do here. Words Fucking Matter, available on Amazon, hardcover, softcover, ebook, and audiobook. There we go. Now we did our plug. As I was getting ready for this episode here, I was writing some notes and I thought about it earlier today. And I still reference back to my own book to find things that are going to trigger inspiration to remind me of the way I live my life. Really, it was a culmination of a lot of things I put together in my life and said, hey, these are the things that have served me well. And in doing so, one of the things that serves me well is to read and research and reaffirm things I have known in the past or thought in the past and written down, and that reaffirmation and then research sometimes to really add the validity to what I'm saying. Plan the work, work the plan. Here's what I love about this. When I got my first Army email, probably 15 years ago, that was my tagline. Plan the work the plan. And because in the military, we often say a plan only survives first contact. So what that means is you have a great plan, and then some outside force, typically the enemy, is going to engage with you. And at that point, the plan goes to shit. And then we have to adjust. It is better to have that plan and prepare for the adjustment than no plan at all. And have contingency plans built in so that when something happens, you have a plan for it. And again, that's the power of language. There's a word I'm looking for here. It leads the variable. We'll just leave it at that. But the point is, when you say if, there's a chance it doesn't happen. When you say when, you're predicting it's going to happen. Then you can be proactive in your response. Often in the military, we say, oh, we're going to what if this to death. No, let's look at the three most likely things that may happen. We look at likelihood and how catastrophic they are. And what can we do to mitigate those things? In the military, we have our CCIRs, which is a critical incident reports, and we have other reports. I can't think of the name of it offhand right now, where basically you gauge the level of risk. It's basically a risk matrix going into every mission. And then from you say, okay, how do we mitigate the risk? What can we do before the mission, during the mission, and after the mission to mitigate some of these risks? So there's a few things I do every day to put myself in a position for success. And it's taken years to develop these good habits. We know it takes 21 days to form a habit. It takes 5 days to lose a habit. So these are things that I habitually do that put me in a place for success. We'll start from the beginning. So during the week, I set my alarm for 6:15. I also have the temperature set in my house for a wake up at 6 a.m. So my house starts to heat. I keep my house at 63 overnight, 71 from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. That motivates me. I start warming up. I naturally start waking up, and also motivates me, especially this time of year, to get out of my bed when otherwise it's cold, right? It's cold overnight, so I sleep well, so it's already warm. I have the same exact routine every morning. It takes me 10 minutes to get out the door. So I go to the bathroom, I walk over, I start my coffee, I go do everything I need to do in the bathroom, I come out, I put my clothes on, I put my cream in my coffee, and I go out the door. And my clothes are laid out in the same spot every day. I've simplified my life by wearing the same outfit the last 7 years. I wear a black t-shirt, same Camo Crew ball cap, camo pants, work boots. Same outfit every day. That I lay out the night before. When I get up, a lot of people have the habit of either turning the radio on or music or videos or anything like that. I choose not to look at my phone. I look at my phone first thing if there's any messages, because I do own a business, anything overnight. And then my goal is to not look at my phone. My goal is to get to work without talking to anybody. I'm not watching videos. I'm not checking Facebook. I'm not looking at emails. I drive to work. It's 14 minutes. And yet I put GPS on every morning because that's my confidence. Okay, I'm going to get to work on time. Or if there's an unforeseen thing, the all-knowing GPS sees it. I don't understand how people these days get lost going places or arrive super late because, there's traffic. Every time I get in my car, I plug it in. I have my GPS there, and I'm known for knowing how to get places. I love knowing how to get places. I love figuring out where I am, north, south, east, west. Like I pretty much always know my orientation. Right now I'm facing north, that's east, right? However, every time I get in my car, I always GPS where I'm going because although I always know where I'm going, I often forget. So that's one thing I do. I always put it in, even on my way to work, I put it in my GPS I don't want to forget where I'm going, not that I'm going to be going somewhere else, or sometimes I have to go to networking events first thing in the morning. I don't have to, I get to go to networking events first thing in the morning. And also, then I can see where traffic is. So if there is a slowdown, I know now before I'm actually in the slowdown, and I can call people, let them know whether I'm running late or not. Once I get to work, I have my calendar set up every day. A lot of people that look at me and they see my calendar at work, they're like, oh my God, that would give me anxiety. I'm the opposite. When I don't plan out my calendar accordingly, I am not effective. I verify my calendar every Monday. I build it the Friday before. That way, I prioritize typically the things I don't want to do, the things that are mundane to me. I load up early in the week to do those. So Mondays are for the mundane. Mondays are for meetings. Mondays are for marketing. Mondays are the things that I generally would otherwise avoid. Also, I do this show on Mondays because I'm fresh. I know that I'll make it a priority on Mondays. By Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I will find a reason not to do it. Same with the Trash Talk Business Podcast. Do it right after that. It is planned out. Fridays are for the future. I got to earn my time on Friday to use my God-given talents and ability to plan, to have the vision for the future. That's where I would love to live all day, and yet I have to earn it by the time I get to Friday in order for it to be successful. Next thing I do in the morning, I do not drink coffee in the first 90 minutes of awake. No regular coffee. I started doing this in October. It has prevented me from having the afternoon crash that I used to have. I used to be 3 cups of coffee a day every day kind of guy. Now I make a cup of decaf every morning. Took a couple weeks to adjust because my body knows it's not getting caffeine, right? Now it's all placebo. I have 1 cup of coffee right around 8 a.m. I get up around 6:15 to 6:30, depending on the day. I have my first cup of regular coffee at 8 a.m. That's the only cup of regular coffee I have throughout the day. I also do not eat. I do not break my fast, breakfast. I do not break my fast until noon every day because there's a bunch of science behind fasting, intermittent fasting, whatever. It doesn't matter. Whatever your plan is, that's my plan. Every day, 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, I am hungry. Yesterday was Sunday. I was hanging out with my girlfriend all day. It was like 11:15. I was like, man, I'm really hungry. She had some Triscuits and guac. It was delicious smelling. I was like, yeah, I want to get that. I did not eat before noon because that's the rule I gave myself. And then I pushed myself. Les Brown, favorite video I've ever watched, talks about how you got to be hungry. I intentionally force myself not to eat till noon because it makes me hungrier. What I realized when I have that discipline, I'm hungrier at life. Once I get through my workday, I eat sometime after 11:30, noon, whatever the time is. It takes 16 hours from the night before. If I know I'm doing a lunch, I always do lunch around 11. We eat about 11:30, 11:45. So I'll factor that in the night before. Typically, when I eat last, based on when volleyball is and whatever, it's math. All it is math, right? Typically, I don't eat after 8 p.m. and I break my fast at noon. 16 hours, there we go, simple math. Throughout my workday, I have periods throughout the day where I do check-ins with the guys, which reduces my anxiety of where the guys are, what are they doing. And also, I have a meeting every day at 16:30 where we go over tomorrow's schedule. It's posted. Everyone adheres to it. That way, we're set up for success. We have a meeting in the morning. We have a meeting in the afternoon every day. Other thing I do, I leave my laptop at work. When I take my laptop home during the week, I end up just continuing to work. My productivity when I'm back at home is nil. I end up just looking at the same stuff, same screens, same spreadsheets. I was looking at it all day, looking for a new answer, looking for something I haven't yet seen, figuring out how to solve the puzzle. What my brain really needs is rest and digestion and relaxation and time to decompress. I have to tell myself to check out. It's part of who I am. And the way I do that is I substitute bad habits like taking home my laptop and working or sitting in front of Netflix and vegging out to garbage, and I transform them into good habits. So I play volleyball 2 days a week. I go to the gym 2 days a week after work. When I do want to check out, I typically watch documentaries. So I watch a lot of YouTube. And even within YouTube, I got rid of all the political stuff. I got rid of the stuff that is pure time suck. I get rid of the stuff that gets me emotionally triggered because I'm not learning, I'm not inspired, I'm not entertained. If it's not one of those 3 things, it is not good input for me as I'm going through my day. As I'm getting ready to wrap up my day, typically if I'm going to the gym or volleyball, I come home, I will either eat before I go to volleyball, depending on how late it is. But if it's like tonight, let's say tonight, for example, I'm going to the gym at 7 p.m. I'll get home about 7:45. I will eat and or shower, vice versa, one or the other, depending on what time it is and how sweaty I am. Really, that's what it comes down to. After volleyball, I always shower right away because I'm always sandy and I don't want sand over my house because I don't have a Roomba. I ain't living that Roomba life yet. Maybe if I had a Roomba, it'd be okay. And then I start my bedtime routine, even to a point where I have a reminder on my phone every day at 2300, 11 p.m., it's time to go to bed. I know I need 7 hours. That's the number. 8 hours would be great. Typically, when I crawl into bed, before 10, I lay there till 10:30, quarter of 11. I know if it's 11 o'clock, my phone is telling me it's time to go to bed. It's already late to go to bed. Throughout the day, those are what I have found to be my best practices based on 39 years of research and development doing different things. Whether it's going to the gym 2 days a week, volleyball 2 days a week, fasting every single day, taping my mouth shut at night so I breathe through my nose, not doing caffeine the first 90 minutes awake. I haven't had a drop of alcohol since March 18th of this year. All of these things are the things I do every day to plan out my body in my mind, and I've yet to do a real thing. I've just spent 15 minutes talking about all the things I do to get myself prepared for the day, and I haven't worked. I haven't called a single customer. I haven't sat down with a single employee. All I've done is focus on planning out my day. Yes, there are days I'm going to get home late from volleyball and eat at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. That's a fact. My goal is to 5 days a week go 16 hours of fasting. So if I break it twice, okay. When I find myself falling behind, slipping up in life, I look at what am I not doing? Do I not go to the gym 2 days a week? Am I taking my laptop home during the week? Because I have clearly identified best practices and clearly identified bad habits, I can now solve for X. And I give myself the liberty and grace. When I need to get caught up on work, I work Saturday mornings. It's typically quiet. I can get a lot of stuff done. I'm not concerned. It's not during the week. I'm fresh. Get up 9, 10 o'clock on a Saturday after I sleep in. I can work. Things are good. I give myself the grace and put solutions in place. My challenge to you is simple. You've been listening to all these episodes. We've gone over different things from time studies to making SMART goals to having your BHAG, your big, hairy, audacious goal. Now, start looking at what do your best days look like? What did you do? What didn't you do? What are some things that you know are no longer serving you? And instead of just doing that straight up stop, we've talked about that with start, stop, continue methodology of change. Instead of just stopping, what are you going to continue to do that's a good habit, or what new habit can you form? Maybe you came home and played a bunch of video games and now you're going to go for a walk. Maybe you would stop and get fast food and now you're going to stop and go to the grocery store, or stop and get quick service, right? The Chipotles of the world are better than the Taco Bell. I'm not saying you're eating pure and clean and keto or vegan or whatever it is. However, moving the needle a little bit in the right direction is still a little bit in the right direction. Figure out what things you can do habitually to put in your routine to put yourself in the best position to be successful. I'm interested to know if there are things you're already doing. Hit me up. Shoot me an email. You can hit me up here. You can hit me up on LinkedIn. Hit me up an email, awines@greenupsolutions.org. I want to know what you're doing so I can share it with others and possibly incorporate it into my world. I appreciate you joining me. Find your routine. And as always, do the fucking thing. Tell the fucking world and show the fuck up.